So, I have this pair of jeans. They're my favorite pair of jeans. And like most of my pants, they got some pretty bad holes right in the crotch area, sort of like where your inner thighs tend to rub together when you walk. Now, usually this is the kiss of death for a pair of pants. But this time I was determined for that not to be the case. This time, I thought I would try using the method of darning to repair the hole in the fabric and give these jeans a new life. So to start off, I'm setting up my embroidery hoop there. This is the only embroidery hoop that I have. It was a little bit difficult to get the jeans kind of stretched out within it. And if I were to do this again, or if you're going to do this at home, I would definitely recommend getting a smaller hoop that is closer in size to the actual hole that you're trying to repair, and then it'll just fit in the leg, or you'll be able to position it better on your garment and make it a little bit easier to work with. The thread that I'm using for this project is just simple cotton embroidery floss that I had lying around. I chose two colors that are sort of complementary, one darker, one a little bit lighter, that I thought would blend in with the fabric of my jeans. I did consider using a super contrasty color, like a nice bright rosy red, but because of the placement of the holes, I thought that that might just look a little bit awkward. I've seen online where other people have mended a hole or a tear and kind of turned it into a really cute little design feature of the garment. But because these are right in that area of your leg where your thighs rub together, you won't really be able to see them. And if they were a super bright contrasting color and someone did catch a peek, maybe you're kind of sitting and you got your legs open a little bit, or you bend over to pick something up, I just thought it would look really awkward because it would be sort of this like flash of color and be like, oh, what is that? So I decided to go the route of just trying to blend the color in to the fabric. Now, the method that I'm using to do this repair is called darning. You often see this used to repair socks because it creates like a woven fabric that sort of goes over the hole. So what you see me doing here is simply creating like the cross that I'm later going to weave over. So just going, up and straight down across the weak part of the fabric before the hole actually starts, and then just continuing that row after row all the way until I have the hole covered. Now, once we have the hole and sort of the weaker areas of the fabric covered, we start another row that will go basically perpendicular to our first row of stitches. And we bring the needle up through the fabric and then do a simple under over weave of each of our other stitches. So what we'll end up with is a simple woven fabric that covers that hole that we had. Now, one thing that I wasn't quite sure about when I did this was how to treat the inside of the garment. Because of the way that I laid my first row of stitches down, kind of making like big loops of stitches, I had sort of two layers of the stitches that covered the hole, if that makes sense, one on the outside and one on the inside. Now I think that I may have done that wrong. I might have been supposed to go like taking a stitch down through the fabric and then come up right next to it so that you only had one layer. I don't know, but I did it this way, and so I had these two layers. So I decided that once I was done with the outside, that I would also do another layer of weaving on the inside to kind of take up those stitches and make it less likely for them to get damaged by wear and tear. I did make much less of an effort to do this neatly than I had on the outside, so my stitches are spaced a little bit further apart, and I think I sort of, miss a few here or there. I was mostly concerned with just not leaving those super long stitches in place where I thought that they may rub through very quickly and then the entire thing would come apart. But I think doing it this way with the two layers will actually be really good. It'll just be more fabric to wear through when I do wear these again, because this thread, being embroidery thread, is pretty soft. I don't expect it to have the same sort of lifespan that the denim did to begin with. So any extra time that I can get out of these jeans is a plus. So now that we're done, we can take the hoop off and see what this is really going to look like. So here we have it. Here are the fixed, darned, now holeless pants. And I'm really happy that I can continue to wear these jeans as they are my favorite pair and they still have plenty of life in them. In fact, I wore these pants on a 3-day trip to Yellowstone after repairing them, and I can report that the darning held up to a few days worth of hiking. They did sort of start to pill up, similarly to how a sweater does, but it wasn't too bad, and it seems like this darning is really going to last for quite some time to come.